Hi everybody. So what I'm doing today is I took out all of my winter vegetables out of this planter because they were wilting and they were getting filled with a lot of insects, a lot of aphids, and the only ones I left here were this romaine lettuce, this Grand Rapids lettuce, and this spinach. But as you can see, they're already wilting too because these are winter vegetables, and as the sun gets hotter, they're uh, they're not gonna survive. So I might end up taking these three and putting them in pots or containers, and then just keeping them in my greenhouse with limited sun. I might put them in my other garden because that one only gets about 6 hours of sun, and that they would thrive well right there. So what you do when you are changing crops is you have to rotate the soil. You have to amend it because when you have um, plants growing in a particular spot for some time, you're gonna have those plants consuming and sucking up all of the nutrients that soil came to the game with, and so you have to replace it. And so I already turned all of that soil underneath this new one that I'm putting. I loosened it up, and I'm gonna do some companion gardening right now. I can hear the honking of all the 2020 high school graduates doing their parade right now. Their ceremony's probably over, and they're celebrating and giving their seniors the proper recognition. Poor kids, I feel so sorry for them. I mean, they're never ever gonna get this back, and there's no way to ever replace their high school graduation. But such is life, things happen, and it is what it is. They are forever going to be the pandemic graduates, and that in and of itself is some kind of recognition, even though it's not fun. But their parents are going out of their way to make them feel special. Here in my neighborhood, there's houses that have life-size banners with the graduate picture on it, and then their name and all of their certificates and awards that they've gotten throughout the year are displayed around the picture. And then there's others that put the grad's name on it, and then a sign that says honk for the graduate, which I thought was so cute. Parents trying to make their kids feel as appreciated as they would have in a pomp and circumstance ceremony. Anyway, so I'm gonna do some companion gardening. I went ahead, and in that corner that you can't see, I put a chocolate mint spearmint. Well, es una hierbabuena que huele a chocolate. Man, I recommend you find it, purchase it, because it is so amazingly beautiful the way it smells. It smells like a peppermint patty. And so I went ahead and I put topsoil, and I put the two kinds of soil that I put most of the time, which is compost, mushroom compost. And I'm gonna use a fertilizer that comes in little beads. This is the Osmocote extended release nutrient fertilizer, and you just kind of scatter it like you would pepper food. like you would salt and pepper food. And this will release nutrients, you know, gradually to your plants. And then also is some of my compost is already finally dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of scatter these. I didn't pulverize them because my electric mixer is leaking, and so I don't have access to an electric mixer right now, and I'm too lazy to use the handheld mixer to crush these. So I'm just kind of doing this a little bit. Kind of like the way the eggshells look. I'm not going to put all of it in here, but you know, I am going to put some of it. And then I'll mix it right now again. And so then here's some peels. Like this is an avocado peel. That's kind of hurting my fingers actually. And all of this stuff provides nutrients. Here's like potato and carrot peel and vegetable scraps that dried. Very important for you to let them dry because you don't want to create a moldy situation for your bed. So all of this is going to add some kind of nutritious value to the soil for your new plants to thrive in. And so that's what I'm doing. And so then I'm just going to kind of cover it up again a little bit. And then what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to companion garden. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of the soil to plant root vegetables that grow underneath the soil. So I bought a package of seeds that has 4 different types of carrots. One of them is a very interesting carrot that I have never seen in my life. It's called the Parisian carrot. It's a little circle. They actually look like apricots. Look at that. That one right there. I bought these at Home Depot. And so I'm going to grow these 4 different types of carrots in this bed underneath, because they need the soil inside the container. They don't need the above level. You know, you are going to have the carrot tops growing, but I'll do some kind of sharing space situation with what I'm intending to grow above and outside of the container. I'm going to grow cantaloupes, honeydew melons, and watermelon. And hopefully, with all this nutrition I added to the soil, I'll have better luck than I've had in the past with these fruits. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna do the carrots first, because they're the ones that go down first. And I'm gonna do 4 rows back here. Look at this. Isn't that adorable? Look at that. Mira, Ana Karen Osorio, cómprale estos a tu niña, los venden en el dollar store y ella puede usarlos cuando te ayude a jardinear. Zaira, tú también cómprale a la Zoe. Entonces los voy a sembrar igualitos como están en la foto para tenerlos de referencia y que no se me olvide. So then the Parisian is this one. So that one's gonna go in first. Y aquí están las semillitas, mira, son unas cositas que parecen pimientas. They're tiny. I should have some scissors out there, but I don't. And it's already getting dark, so I need to hurry. So the sun is gonna finish setting, and it's gonna completely get dark on me before I finish planting. But when you transplant, the best time to do transplanting is when the sun is not hitting your transplant, because it's too hard on your little transplant seedling. And when you are doing seed planting, it doesn't really matter. But you know, I went to have coffee with my parents this afternoon, so I got home around 6:30 and I cut my garden time by a lot by staying at their house instead of the 4 p.m. Afternoon time when the sun is out of your face, but it is still, you know, 3 hours away from sundown. That's my favorite time of day. All right, so I already planted a few of those Parisian circle plants. Now I'm going to do the rainbow carrots on another row back here that I'm going to create right here. And what you do is you make a little row and you throw them in there about maybe a half an inch deep, and you do that so that the plants don't move, because when you water they could move, and then you're not exactly sure where your plants are, or you don't have proper control of what you're growing where. So if you make the little hole like a little tiny trench, you have better control of where you planted stuff. Okay, so I got another, and look at it's minimum. See that what looks like a little bit of dirt right there? That right there doesn't look like anything, but I bet you there's over 30 carrots in seed form right now. And so what you do is they're so tiny, you just kind of sprinkle them like you would salt on food. And then when they start growing, you can start thinning by pulling out the weak looking ones and just keeping a nice row of really strong looking carrots. I'm gonna make another row here, and this is where the tender sweet ones are gonna be. And then over here, the last row is going to be where I put these have a really particular name, and Chantenay, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but they're just, you know, regular orange carrots. I you know, before I farmed, I never knew that there were so many varieties of fruits and vegetables out there. You know, an orange carrot is an orange carrot is an orange carrot to me, way back when I didn't used to farm. Now I know better. And so now, one of the fun things of growing, look, this one has a lot, and I'm actually really happy because of all the ones inside this package, the ones that have the adjectives tender and sweet are the ones that appeal to me the most, precisely because I get a feeling those are gonna be like Safeway carrots, you know? Have you ever bought carrots at VS or at Monte Carlo Market or at Food City or Walmart? And then have you ever tasted the difference of a carrot from Safeway? There is no comparison. Safeway is expensive sometimes with different things. You know, they have a lot of specials, but sometimes it's kind of expensive, but you know what? It's well worth it because the carrots from Safeway are so sweet that it's almost like having candy, in my opinion. It's a pleasure to just eat a carrot from there with nothing on it, with no dressing, with no salt, with no lemon, just the raw taste of a crunchy carrot from Safeway is such a treat. I'm hoping that these are gonna be that good. I'm hoping that they're Safeway quality carrots. ¿Está bueno, mijo? ¿Vas a estar en el cuarto? De veras. Ok, ahorita cuando termine. Está bueno, mijo. Ahorita cuando termine ya me meto. ¿Qué van a querer de cenar? Pues ahí están todavía los Subway sandwiches. Alright, so I think I'm gonna do a few more of these tender sweet. Yeah, I get the feeling these are gonna be really good. So I'm gonna do 2 rows of these. It's really hard to see. My husband was out here batting with my sons. So there, 2 rows of tender sweet carrots. You know, when I used to teach, I used to tell my students that writing was a special skill if you knew how to use the parts of speech. And it was always so much fun to teach the parts of speech, you know, to tell them, you know, the difference in writing and how it is enhanced by the use of adjectives. But not just adjectives, adverbs, you know. You learn about 5-cent words and penny words, and then you learn about quarter words, and then you learn about dollar words when you're in school and you're doing writing and they're teaching the writing sample. And so when you get kids that want to enhance their writing by just using a whole bunch of adjectives, it's so fun to broaden their mind and tell them, hey, you know, adjectives are not the only thing that exists in the world. There's adverbs, you know. You don't just say, you know, that a flower is lovely and that's the only option you have to describe the flower. Exactly how lovely is that flower? Well, if you say that it is incredibly lovely, or if you say that it is very lovely, then you will have just added an adverb to your adjective. It's really part of, I think, growing old, when you're trying to think of what you're gonna say and it's in your mind, but you don't, like, all of a sudden when you know you're recording, every word escapes you and you can't remember what you're supposed to say. That's kind of like what happened to me right now. And I noticed that happened to me a little bit when I got the Bell's palsy a few years ago. I had the whole entire left side of my face just freeze. And it was probably because my immune system is compromised. And people that are immunocompromised, you know, get rare diseases. Like I had the shingles back in 2007, and I was told that you don't get shingles when you're that young, and yet I had it. And I noticed that one of the things that changed for me, and it became very difficult in teaching, was that after I got the Bell's palsy, it wasn't easy for me to speak. I felt like a lot of my words wouldn't come out the way that I was thinking them. And ay, cállate, Sachi! And I felt that it hindered my teaching. And of course, you know, when you've got students that are telling you or repeating back to you the words, kind of like making fun of you because of the way you pronounced it, they don't let you live it down. They start repeating it after you, and they start laughing, and you know, there's a lot of things that happened after I had that Bell's palsy that made teaching kind of an uphill battle that ultimately led to my starting to think that maybe it was time for me to retire. And I miss my students, you know, and I've begun to forget now the things I used to know like the back of my mind. I haven't taught a parts of speech lesson in 2 years since I retired, and trying to think of an adverb right now was really difficult, and I'm not even sure that I'm correct in thinking that amazingly and very are adverbs. They might very well be adjectives, but I did know the difference once upon a time. It's just that when you don't use something, you forget it, you know. This marker is not working. This is a bad one. Um, I'm going to go and look for a good one, a darker one, and then I'm going to come back and then on this part right here, like I did carrots back there. So now from here this way, on this side I'm gonna do my watermelon, and on this side I'm gonna do my cantaloupe and honeydew, and that's basically gonna be it. And as the days go by, I'm gonna be posting pictures of how the little seeds start growing and growing until we can successfully harvest all of these yummy foods, probably in a couple of months. So that's that. It's been fun. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. I'll see you later. I'm really considering doing a YouTube channel. What do you think? Would you subscribe? Would you be a subscriber? All right, guys. See you later. Bye-bye now.